Jeff Saturday is back for the first time in forever. Our Tuesday team, we welcome J-Mac to the squad. Delighted to have you. And the weekend ended with a fascinating game last night. Take me to Soldier Field and the matchup of the sensational sophomores. Caleb Williams beginning his second year. J.J. McCarthy, for all intents and purposes, beginning his first. Bears' first drive. Dominic, this is special.
Oh, yeah, this is outstanding. This is enough to get the Bears fans excited. The ball just jumps out of his hand off of one leg. That is an amazing throw. Accurate, good catch by Dunze.
And it leads to this, Jeff capping the drive.
Oh, look at the athleticism. Gets stuck, backs up, keeps his eyes downfield, but uses those wheels to get outside. First opening drive touchdown and rushing touchdown. How about my man, Super Bowl?
So looking good early. Bears up 7-0. Stayed that way a while. Third quarter, Vikings down 4. This is on a 3rd and 8. J-Mac, what happens here?
He throws an out route. You throw it inside Graz. If you see this in the third quarter, you're going to sleep after this play. The game is over.
If you got to be up early, that's possible.
Yeah, it's zero coverage. You take away the inside when you're a corner in that situation. So that throw was really bad, demoralizing. No way a young quarterback could bounce back from something
Down
like that.
7,
Right?
no way.
That's right, Dan.
Done.
But he's got KOC on the sideline, and then they begin the comeback. Fourth quarter, 1st and 10. McCarthy looking for Justin Jefferson. That combination would heat up a little in the fourth.
Oh, yeah, it's easy to come back when you got a guy like McCarthy, when you got a guy like Jefferson. They were doing a lot of man coverage. You're not going to man cover that guy. Great throw.
And that leads to this on a 3rd down.
And now man doesn't work. Let's double him. Throw it to his ass anyway. 6 points. Good read. Good read.
Vikings would go for the 2 and not get it. So the Bears still leading at 17-12 while we gritty our way on. And then they would turn up the defensive pressure. Brian Flores got his tricks going in the fourth.
Oh, yeah. It started to get really uncomfortable for Caleb Williams. We started to see him to revert a little bit back to the old Caleb Williams.
And J.J. McCarthy got hot. Look at this throw, Jeff, to Aaron Jones.
That thing is a beautiful throw on time. Again, putting it right in the spot he needs to a running back who makes the catch, turns and scores. Big-time play for J.J.
Dynamite!
They go for the 2. They do get it. So it's 20-17 Vikings. And now here's Caleb under
Throws in the second half where he was just off target for no reason at all. Caleb struggled in those moments.
The Vikings get it back, and J.J. McCarthy with a chance to be the hero.
Yeah.
Here's right where they don't want to be, 3rd and 14. And he's looking for Cole Kmet, and Caleb just was off target in this second half.
It happened multiple times, 8 throws in the second half where he was just off target for no reason at all. Caleb struggled in those moments.
The Vikings get it back, and J.J. McCarthy with a chance to be the hero.
Yeah, modern quarterback, you better be able to run. Finish it. Look at this enthusiasm.
Yeah.
I got hyped last night. I got a
He
little
was
hype
hyped
on his call.
Yeah.
He went, I made that call.
Bears would add a late touchdown, but it wasn't nearly enough. The Vikings complete the comeback. They win it 27-24. It was not looking like it was going to be J.J. McCarthy's night. And then he became the first player ever to account for 3 touchdowns in the fourth quarter of his NFL debut. He also joined Steve Young as the only quarterback since 1950 to direct a double-digit fourth quarter comeback in their NFL debut. So a historic night. Here's J.J. and the coach at the mic.
What do you think he will remember most about this night?
Getting the win. That's what I remember most. You know, just being here in the hometown, you know, it's a dream come true. And, you know, to all the kids out there, it's possible. And, you know, I just love my guys and can't wait to go to war next week.
I told him at halftime, you are going to bring us back to win this game. And the look in his eye was fantastic. And the best thing is just the belief I felt from the team.
Okay, we got a lot of time to talk about this. Put your feet up. We got 2 quarterbacks to analyze because that's the story of last night. And Graziano, what was your first thought this morning?
I thought that even though he was hurt and didn't play last year, the year that J.J. McCarthy spent in Minnesota last year was more beneficial to his development than the year Caleb Williams spent in Chicago last year was to his. And just because, you know, 2 different head coaches, multiple offensive coordinators, just kind of, you know, didn't really get, you know, his feet under him in the league, even though he was playing. Whereas J.J. McCarthy, the coaching infrastructure there in Minnesota is so strong. The belief from the head coach, Kevin O'Connell, in him is so strong. And apparently, as Kevin mentioned, the team feels the same way. So this is a quarterback who had never played in the NFL before last night, but seemed like he was absolutely ready not only to play, but to continue Minnesota's success from last year. Remember, there's a lot of pressure on this young man. They won 14 games last year, so if he didn't look like he was up to it, it would have gone sour pretty quickly.
Troy Aikman started the night by saying he thinks there's more pressure on McCarthy this year than any other quarterback in the league. And so how do you think his teammates walked out of that stadium last night?
Oh, you walk in that locker room coming off that victory, and you say to each other, hey, Nick, man, we got to do it.
We got our guy. We got our guy.
They're not worried about that. When you go through that level of adversity that he went through in the first half of that ball game, when you throw a pick six in the third quarter and it's good night, turn the lights out, and you're able to respond. This throw in the fourth quarter to Justin Jefferson while he's getting hit in the mouth, I think they found out something about their quarterback, that he has the moxie to get us to where we want to go.
They're going to have a great week of practice. I remember getting traded down to Atlanta, and we had Matt Ryan, the quarterback. And at very first throw of the game, he throws a skinny post to Mike Jenkins. He takes it to the crib. The whole feeling of the organization changed on that moment. I feel like the same thing happened last night, that all those guys know. People are going to be practicing harder on Wednesday. Everybody's going to show up early on Wednesday. They're going to stay late.
Got a chance.
Everything changes when you find out you got a guy like this who can bounce back from a rough start in his first start. It's incredible.
And I think everybody, like to your point, is fired up because they saw it before it happened. Like they saw when he came out, they saw when he throws the interception, and then the kid just lets it rip. I mean, it's like, I ain't sweating this. We're going to keep this. And he talked about it in the huddle. You see like what the players said afterwards. They looked in his eyes. He said, I'm going to bring this team back. We're going to win this. Those moments solidify a team extremely quickly, and especially for a young guy who's got that air about him. The dude's been successful everywhere. And now he's showing you the first time he gets a shot to go come back and make it happen. That's a special feeling.
You were telling us a story this morning about that you had heard over the summer about a joint practice that I think was interesting.
So I was covering the Patriots in the preseason. So the second week, they had a joint practice down in Minnesota. Patriots go out there day one. J.J. McCarthy doesn't perform well. They do some things that he wasn't ready for. There's no game planning at that point.
That's right.
So what the Vikings coaches did, they said, you know what, we're going to treat this like a game. We're going to come in after day one. We're going to make some corrections. We're going to game plan a little bit off of what we saw on day one. J.J. McCarthy goes out there on day two, 13 for 13 in practice, has his best one of training camp. And that showed the coaches this is the closest thing to what it's going to feel like game day.
Can I just say how important, like we talk about O'Connell, like how special he is, but McCown, his quarterback coach as well.
Right there.
That ability, right, to go, hey, you know what? We are going to actually game, but we want to put this kid in a position to get him better and actually develop him as a player. Hey, JJ, this is what we're going to do. If we had this in a game, here's the adjustments we would make. Let's go see what you can do. And the kid comes out and responds. That's true development at that position. And it is the most important thing in football because at the end of the day, he's the only guy crossing those lines. He's got to feel comfortable with the guys on the sideline, going to put him in the right play and trust it. That built the trust there against the Patriots. That's awesome. I love that story.
It was an interesting night in so many ways. For Caleb Williams, on the other side, the former number one, it was a Charles Dickens game, right? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. You saw some of the really good stuff early. Second half, let me quickly show you a stat here. A16, Cindy, if you would, please. So Caleb completes his first 10 passes, and they were talking about completions. You heard that on the broadcast last night. He was then off target on 29% of his throws that night, so the highest rate of any quarterback in the league in week one. In that second half, nearly half his throws, 44%, were off the mark. So, Dan Graziano, how do the Bears feel waking up this morning?
I think they feel like they've seen some things, but there's more work to do with Caleb Williams. I think how they would have expected to feel after the first game. Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator, is a terrible with Caleb Williams. I think it will get better from here, and I think you saw the signs. He talked to Laura Rutledge on the field before the game, and she said, "What's your coach's message been?" And he said it's been about just play point guard, and then when it's time to be Superman, be Superman. And he did a good job of that in the first half. But I think Flores and the Vikings defense got him out of his game.
You guys tell me. The way I viewed it, there were moments that you say to yourself, okay, I see it, right? I mean, one on the sideline, and the ball flies. It comes out of his hand. Anyone can see it. But there was
about, just play point guard, and then when it's time to be Superman, be Superman. And he did a good job of that in the first half. But I think Flores and the Vikings defense got him out of his game.
You guys tell me. The way I viewed it, there were moments that you say to yourself, okay, I see it, right? I mean, one on the sideline, and the ball flies. It comes out of his hand. Anyone can see it. But there was some of the, and I think we have one of the plays here that sort of turns you on, like just the way the ball comes out here. There's not too many guys in the league that are making this play. But then there were other moments, and Troy Aikman, I thought, was pointing them out, where there were plays there to be made. He didn't see them, all that kind of stuff. So if the Vikings are feeling like we got a guy, how are the Bears feeling?
It's hard because the Bears were at that game too.
Right.
So they saw what happened, but I don't think they should be that discouraged.
No.
They don't have a guy like what they saw from J.J. McCarthy just yet, but I think that you could build towards it because some of the things that he was having trouble with in the past, he addressed. His willingness to take these checkdowns was almost as impressive as when he did that jump cut spin move on the sideline, and I saw his athleticism. So that was a step in the right direction. And then eventually, the Vikings started to blitz, and the picture got muddy, and he started to revert back to some of this, like, I don't actually know what's going on, so I'm just going to use my athleticism to try to make something happen, and then started to create negative plays like this one.
So we just talked about J.J. McCarthy and J-Mac, you brought up the development from the Patriots. Think about the organizational failure of the Bears and how they've developed quarterbacks in the years. This is his third coach in a year and a half, whatever it is.
Let me just say this. He's played 18 games.
Right.
He has had as many head coaches as the Pittsburgh Steelers have had since 1969.
Okay, so I'm not trying to give excuses, but I'm giving reasons, right? Now he has Ben Johnson, who is going to stabilize him, teach him, and what we all do as players is revert back to our weaknesses when we panic.
Yeah.
And there was some of that, right? Because all of a sudden, Brian Flores, when they got behind, they throw the pick six. They're like, we might as well we got to create, and so now it's kind of like a snowball, right? It just kind of snowballed on him. He is still their guy. I still believe they feel the same way in their locker room that the Vikings do.
Yeah.
It's just going to take time for him to get rid of the bad habits.
Yeah, and the game didn't unfold the way it did for Minnesota. Caleb didn't play, and they didn't start on offense as rough as Minnesota did. But at the same time, you look at Caleb, and the things that you liked in the first half was there were moments where he stepped all the way up in the pocket. Yes, there was the ones where he's going on the sidelines, making all those throws. But at the same time, some of the ones that he made in the first half, the scramble around, the great plays, he did some of the same things in the second half. It just didn't have the same result. Those are the things you're looking at, and some of the throws that he made where you're like, come on, you can get this one down. But what I was impressed is as we're watching Kmet catch that pass, they go down in this game, and it looks like all the momentum has shifted. Caleb Williams drives him right down the field and scores a touchdown and keeps him in that game. So you still feel really good about the progress that he has made from last year to this year.
It is J.J. McCarthy's 16th month with Kevin O'Connell. It is Caleb Williams' 6th month with Ben Johnson.
There you go.
I think that says it all.
Perfect.
And maybe they're both headed in the right directions. I think we believe in Ben Johnson, and we certainly believe in Kevin O'Connell. If there was a coaching draft tomorrow, I'm not sure he wouldn't be the first pick. All right, coming up, does any of it actually